Welcome to Wildlife with Effie Wild. This is episode 5 and I'm calling it We'll Grow As We Go. It's been a week since last we spoke. I have been having a hell of a time with various aspects of my life, but I'm also really aware and in tune with what's going on in the lives of those I care about most deeply. And so I really needed to get out of my own experience, which is a little bit gnarly right now, and focus in and hone in on doing some art journaling as a form of magic that I'm sending to those of my casserole people, those people that show up on the regular. You know, they're on my doorstep with iced coffee and offers of drives and looking after me when I'm in a dark space, because some of them are really going through a hard time right now, and I want to send them some gratitude but also some energy so that they can deal with the stuff that they're dealing with. I'm working in my book of days, which is a hand-bound art journal that I use whenever I'm teaching. So if I'm doing a spread for a book of days or moonshine, I'm in this journal. I also do other things in this journal, usually on the right hand facing page, because I tend to teach using the left hand facing page so that my lessons aren't 8 hours long. So this is an example of coming back into a background that I created while I was working on a whole nother spread. The spread that I was working on the left-hand side is covered up by a piece of watercolor paper and a little bit of washi tape just to protect the spread from whatever I might end up doing on this right-hand facing page. The background that you see here was built during the creation of the spread that's on the left-hand facing page, and you will get to see both sides of the spread later on in this video, but for now I really just wanted to settle into this page, which is made up of yellow, gold, and a little bit of green Faber Castell Pitt Pen. So the yellow is diary lied yellow from Golden. The gold is iridescent fine gold from Golden, which I have applied through a stencil. And then the little bit of green that you see there is permanent olive green, I think. I was going to say permanent oxide, but it's not. It's permanent olive green from Faber Castell. So this spread, this background was just sitting there in my journal. I flipped through my journal when I knew that I wanted to come to the page and paint something, especially for my very best friend, who shall remain nameless for this video, just because I want her to feel safe in the world. So I'm not going to name her. Most of you know who she is anyway, but still. She's going through a particularly difficult time right now, and I just wanted to really hone in on how much I love her and how much energy I want to send in her direction as she travels, as she journeys in a very difficult phase or period of her life. I don't just art journal for myself, right? That's the thing, is sometimes when I'm coming to the page, especially if I'm working with magic, with art magic, I might be doing healing for my nears and dears. I might be doing a more collective spread for world peace or for a sense of connection and unity among all of my people. So it's nice to be able to demonstrate what that might look like for you. I've done a few spreads like this for Book of Days, and actually demonstrated like a healing spell in particular that I did for one of my close friends. That was quite a while ago though. So it's just fun to show you guys what it might look like if I'm coming to the page with someone else in mind. So that's what this is. So I've started this off with a layer of Absorbent Ground, which is a product that you can get that will let you put a completely opaque, toothy layer onto whatever surface you're working with, that will then take water-based materials like watercolor, spray inks, and stuff like that. I knew that I wanted to work with specific greens from my favorite palette, which is a palette that I've got all filled up with QoR watercolors and Daniel Smith watercolors. You can see it right there. These are all my favorite colors. And there are some greens in here that are just incredibly bourgeois. One of them is a green gold and the other one is a Jadeite. The green gold is from Daniel Smith, and that's what you're going to be seeing me put on here now. And then the Jadeite, which is just a brighter, richer, darker green, is from Daniel Smith. I wanted to honor the part of my best friend that is just so in tune with the spirit of nature, because I think when we're having a really difficult time in our lives, like many of us are these days, whether that be because of what's happening in the more collective social sphere, or if that's because of the stuff that's happening in our personal lives, and they are often connected, we can lose track of or sort of fall out of the habits and lose sight of the delights and joys that will help us through times like these. So we can get so caught up in what's going on that we forget to take the pause for whatever we might need to like refill our wells and renew our spirits. And in the case of my lovely, lovely sister witch, for her it's nature. You know, it's all things green and growing. She's definitely a nature girl. So I wanted to come into this spread with a lot of that symbolism. I also wanted, as a part of this experience, to offer some effort as offering. So for me, whenever I'm doing really tedious little details like a million bazillion tiny little circles or lots of outlining or lots of doodles, there's something that happens for me energetically when I'm doing that that feels like an offering of my own brain power, creative power, muscle power. And I send that energy towards the eventual attainment of whatever it is that I desire. So in the case of this spread, every action is backed up by an intention. Everything I'm doing here is fuel that I'm sending to the divine so that they can take this energy, however you want to define the divine. I want the divine to take this energy and use it towards the attainment of my desire, which is, in the case of this particular little piece of magic, a sense of certainty, a sense of direction, a sense of soundness and straightness within my best friend, a sense that she knows what direction to take, a sense that whatever life throws her way, whatever is going on with her, she is going to be able to deal with it. So I just want her to have ease and healing and space. And I especially want to convey the message both to her and to the universe that we know she's going to grow as she goes. We know that whatever this path that she's on right now is leading her to, it's going to lead her to increased personal growth. Because look, let's face it, we don't necessarily grow when things are easy. We don't necessarily grow when things are just la 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 and we're going along and everything's fine. We tend to grow when we're bumping up against the hard things. That's kind of like how a knife gets sharpened when you rub it on a stone. That polishing process, that sharpening process, that takes friction, it takes conflict, and it takes uncertainty and being in uncertainty. And that is certainly where I found myself over the years and where I presently find myself, to be perfectly honest, and where she finds herself right now. So this spread is in honor of her courage. She is one of the bravest people I know. This is not an easy path that she's undertaken. I want her to know how much I love her and support her. And I also want us all to know that when we undertake a journey into our own abyss and we take on the things that are most difficult and we make the choices that are the most painful, that bring the most uncertainty, that drop us right into our worst fears, we are absolutely invoking in and inviting growth. That's really the only way for us to do it. There's something to be said for pursuing pleasure. There's something to be said for enjoying the escape. You know, we play games, we watch shows, we read, we maybe have some drinks around the bonfire, and we just unhook our brains and forget the reality that we're actually experiencing. And that's really an important part of filling the well. But if we're not tackling the things we need to tackle head on, then what we end up doing is just basically sticking our heads in the sand. You know, there's no potential there for newness or growth or the next phase of our journey, or for the wonderful things that life may have in store for us if we don't take the risks to go wherever it is our hearts and souls are leading us. And I just want to express my gratitude that I have such an amazing, badass friend. She really shows me all the time what it is to grapple with and live in truth. And I love her so much and appreciate her so much. So this spread is a spell. I am doing this spread under the new moon in Cancer. It is absolutely directed toward her healing, but also toward the revelation of truth for her, so that she can act upon whatever is going to be most useful for her soul. And as I work, I'm just really doodling. Like, it's just the easiest spread I've ever done. It's just little doodles inside this leaf shape. The leaf shape is her standing upright in her soundness and straightness. The little circles that I'm putting inside the leaf are really little seeds of potential and possibility for the next phase of her journey. And then I'm going to add some words to the spread. And all of this is going to be done with a Sakura Glaze pen, which is one of my favorite art journaling tools. It pretty much works on everything. It's great for doodles. It's also great for lettering. The actual process is pretty tedious because, like I said, I'm just adding little tiny shapes and lines and then doing some text. But the process is really me extending all of this energy toward what I want for her. So what you're witnessing is truly a magical interaction between myself and the universe and the divine as I understand it, and I hope you enjoy. The only other tool I'm using in this spread is a gel pen. It's the Unibal Angelic color in gold. It comes either alone a la carte, or you can buy it in a set. I got mine on Amazon, and I'm just using it to add a little bit of bling. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward the rest for you so that you guys can watch without sitting here for an hour, because that is about how long this entire journey took. There is no extended version this week because I've really said about everything that I want to say about the process, about my reasons for coming to the page. So everyone this week is getting the exact same content. It was a really super intense week for me with work and family stuff, and also just really feeling into my own areas of path diversion, my own need for things to shift and change. So I wanted to keep this week really simple, but I did promise those of you who are getting this on Patreon and in FE365 that there would definitely be something. So here it is. There is definitely something. And I hope you enjoyed this little something. I hope that you gleaned something from it, that you kind of got a sense of what it's like to sit down on the page and just extend your energy as an offering toward the healing or edification or happiness or benefit of someone other than yourself. It's a really powerful thing for me to do because I know that every little piece of healing or love or every way I extend myself out into the universe comes back to me. That's just a personal belief of mine. So I will be back probably next week. I can't promise a new one every week, guys. Sometimes life just takes over, especially if like there's a lot of personal stuff going on. you know how it is. Life, right? Life, all the life. But I do try to sit down and do at least a couple of these every month, and I'll be putting these up in all of our places, so I hope you come find them. I'm going to time lapse the rest of this for you because it's mostly just me making tiny little marks on the page and then adding some text. But yeah, this was really fun for me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in all of our places.